Robin Lent. We're coming to you from Budapest, Hungary, the campus of Central European University here where we're studying, and we're bringing you a special video edition of Spirit and the Law for this anniversary week of September 11th, 2001. It's been 5 years since then, and in part we want to share with you the perspectives that we're hearing here in Budapest from around the world, and also September 11th was a significant day in my spiritual shift in that it catalyzed an investigation of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Please send us an email at spiritandthelaw@gmail.com and let us know what you think of this video format. Take care, bye-bye.
Okay, my name is Yaret Lagasa. I'm from Ethiopia. I'm third year PhD student in the Legal Studies department here. So this is my 4th year here.
And where were you on September 11th?
September
2001.
Yeah, that was our holiday, our New Year, and I was enjoying with my friends when I heard about that happening. For me, I think it's a turning point. It's a bad happening because it has changed the U.S. foreign policy for me as a person, a citizen of a poor developing country. I think so much has changed. The U.S. foreign policy has become focused on terrorism, so it has maybe given up its commitment for democracy, liberal values and etc. So I think it's bad. It's unfortunate.
My name is Mike Murtaugh. I'm from California.
And where were you 5 years ago today?
I was laying in bed in California, and my mom woke me up to tell me something was going on at the building my dad used to work at before that. World policy, I would say it's changed a few things. It's become a little bit more unilateral and aggressive since then. And now there's a lot more fear in the world because of events like this. Well, we have my dad's old ID card sitting in our our cupboard there, with all in the china cabinet or whatever. And it's kind of weird to see that it's burnt and destroyed from the building falling down.
Oh wow.
So his ID card was there even when he wasn't.
Because he still traveled there. So that is a very tangible reference to it. But me personally, it hasn't hit me too much in California, but my family in New York, their houses are covered in dust and all this weird stuff, and that's a very very different thing. And me, I think it makes me want to go out and see the world as much as I can and see a lot of places that I think are still safe and learn about different cultures and the way people think, as opposed to just staying in America and being in fear. Because you can be in fear anywhere that you are, and there's not much point to it.
I'm Lucas. I'm from Prague. And what were
where were you on September 11th, 2001?
Actually, I was just flying from the States so I was quite lucky because I would have been grounded for a while. So personally, the first week was quite, because I had a few friends who worked in the World Trade Center. Fortunately, all of them, it turned out, were fine, but we couldn't locate 2 of them. So I think there were sort of two different stages to this, because in the very beginning I think people realized that terrorism is threatening everyone. Now I feel like Europe is sticking its head in the sand again.
I'm Peter Varga. I'm from Montreal, Canada. And on September 11th, I was actually a journalism student in 2001 and had just started the graduate program in journalism. And I was at home, the TV was on when the news broke, and I had a deadline writing course actually later that day that I had to go to for journalism. And the professor who was teaching it actually was originally from New York, and she went ahead and taught the class. Was in tears though. I think it may be sort of, I don't know. I think like many people, I think that nothing was really learned from the event. I don't know if anything was. I mean, people are just a hell of a lot more fearful now than they ever were before, and I'm just hoping that, myself personally, I'm hoping that something positive will come out of it. More more understanding, more dialogue will happen.
Well, my name is Ferenc Lacu and I'm a Hungarian from Budapest.
Fabulous.
See, I was studying at the time in the Netherlands at University College Utrecht, and I had a class at the time, actually an academic writing class of sorts, when the event happened, and we had a student who wasn't present, and he just ran into the class to tell the teacher and the class that this was going on, so we all left to check out the news. Well, see, I mean, I do believe that that a lot of things have worsened since. At least, I think the sense I have is, I mean, I was still, of course, 5 years younger, and I was probably a bit more naive as well at the time, which means that I expected a lot more peaceful beginning to the 21st century. Well, I think the positive side would be probably an awareness, or a growing awareness, which is, of course, sounds very general, and it is very general, but I think that might be that people realize more that there is dissatisfaction out there, that there's really growing inequality still, and that there is really a lot that needs to be done to make the world safer, also for democracy.
Christina Pochio, and I'm from New York City. I was actually a few blocks north of the Ground Zero site. It was what was the day? It was election day. It was, and so I was getting out the vote, and it was a day I just volunteered that morning, and I insisted on having the most downtown location because I had a doctor's appointment at 10, so I needed the earliest and most downtown location. And as I'm passing it out, all of a sudden I heard a big boom, and then a few minutes later, people walked across this. I saw people staring up at the towers across the street, and went across, and I see that it's on the all in flames, and I was like, how are they going to ever get that fire out on the 90th floor? It's just like impossible. And I was working. I had a job down the block. It was directly in front of the most north tower, and a few minutes later, like intellectually, I couldn't get it. It didn't hit me, but I walked to my job, and out there, my body was trembling by that point, and we were just walking by people, and we say, "You're not going to work today," like crazy, like reactions, like people were telling each other, "You're not going to work, you're not going to work," and pretty much dazed. And then when we got in front of my building, all of my coworkers were standing outside watching the first tower burning on top, and then the second tower exploded in front of us, and we just held each other kind of helpless, and for like 10 minutes, and then realized, like, wait a second, there's like masses of people and pandemonium and ships that were running up the street, and we realized we better get going. So we closed up the shop, and by the time I walked to Canal Street, which is only like 4 or 5 blocks north of there, I heard "Oh my God," which was on a radio it was transmitted through a radio that somebody had jacked up on their van, because people were listening to the simultaneous reports as we were walking. And when you heard that and you knew it was from the radio, we looked up and we watched the first tower come down, and then it was a few blocks, like, I don't know, 20 blocks later, the second tower came down, but in plain sight. And that was where I was.